Hey guys, it's Doc. Welcome to a special episode of American Tells. We are here promoting our live taping of American Tells that we'll have out at 6:30 Friday, June 5th at Sharky's. We'll be joined by the gentlemen that are on this call. We got Casey West, Garrett Brown, Trett Charles, who will all be playing together. And we have made a pact that we will be on our best behavior during our live taping of American Tells. Come out, give us a hard time, ask some questions, and we will do our best to say PG-13 with an asterisk. We will do our best, but we're going to have a great time out there at Sharky's. They're off Grand Lake of the Cherokees. It's a great location. I've been out there to VIP with the kids. Boys, how are we doing?
Doing well, man.
Casey,
Excellent.
that is an excellent hat.
Thank you very much.
Trett, are you joining us from the Show Me State tonight?
I am in Missouri as we speak. Missouri.
What have you boys been up to lately? I saw Garrett yesterday. Casey, what have you been up to musically?
Doing a lot of writing, playing some shows here and there. Not nearly what I was in the past, but I've booked some cool stuff for this year, and kind of working towards next year. I really need to get some stuff recorded, but I got 5 or 6 new songs that people are liking quite a bit when I'm playing them live, and just kind of living life, man. Spending time with the family.
You can't beat that, right? I got 2 little kids and it consumes most of my time, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But still getting to go out there and meet folks like you in the most historic and powerful mediums of storytelling, which is music. So looking forward to new music. Will you play some of those new songs over at Sharky's?
Absolutely, as long as I can get Garrett and Trett to sing along and play some guitar with me, then I'll absolutely play those songs.
Of course.
Awesome.
You're
Maybe not
asking the
Garrett,
wrong-
maybe just Trett.
I was gonna say I would ask Garrett. I wouldn't even ask me.
Oh, only gonna ask him. So
Trett, how have you been doing, man?
Doing dandy. Looking at Garrett Brown's cross-eyed right now.
I'm telling you, we were going to make it 5 minutes in on the live show, and we're just going to be crazy.
You're just asking for trouble. That's all I'm saying. You're asking for trouble for all 3 of us.
Well, musically, Trett, what have you been up to?
Honestly, man, not a ton. We've been playing a lot of shows. We're between Garrett and I and Casey. We got stuff with Casey too, but between Garrett and we do a lot of duo stuff. But my band, we do a lot of stuff too. So we're pretty booked till, honestly, I've got a lot of shows all the way to December right now. And then on top of it, kind of the same situation as Casey. I've got about 5 new songs that I've got ready to record too. Just the matter of time and money kind of goes into effect.
Now, your shows that you have scheduled out to December, where kind of are those shows at, outside of our gig over at Sharky's?
We've got quite a bit of different things. I play a lot of the casino run stuff. So like we'll play Cherokee Ramona, we play River Spirit, Osage Casino, Tulsa is another popular place. Do a lot of private wedding stuff too, and then got some stuff to be announced that I can't announce yet. But yeah, we just got a variety of different things, and then we also like playing also like kind of like playing the bar stuff too. When you start playing music, you kind of realize like that's kind of your home. And as Garrett would say, the ball needs to go home, as Happy Gilmore. But I think that's kind of, I can't speak for like Casey and Garrett, but like for me, when we get to play like bar gigs, it's more like unplugged and close knit, and you get to have more fun with friends and family that come out and show up, and it just really have a good time. And it's another, like for Friday specifically at Sharky's, it's nice because you get to play songs that you may not have played for years, or people who ask for originals that you may not have played in a while. And same with covers. I like playing a variety of covers, and so do they. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, Sharky's is awesome. Anytime you can have that intimate crowd feeling, and then people just, when you're done with the song, the people are like yelling, like, "Hey, what about this?"
Yeah. I think personally, like that's my favorite kind of crowd. Really, I think between the 3 of us, we have such a song catalog between the 3 of us that, like, if I don't play something, Garrett may play it. If Garrett doesn't play it and I don't play it, Casey may know it. Like, it's just kind of like one of those camaraderie things that everybody can come together like and play anything really. So that's what makes it fun, because there's times like we'll sit there and be playing songs, and people like, "Oh my god, I didn't know you know that song." I'm like, "Well, you'd be surprised. We sing a lot of things. Sometimes Backstreet Boys comes out. We don't know what's gonna happen."
Well, and you get the 3 of us together and you don't the crowd that comes out when the 3 of us are playing a place should expect already that we're just
Yeah.
gonna act like a bunch of fools because we are a bunch of fools when we get around each other, and we just have a good time, man. It's fun. We talk crap to each other and we make jokes and just have fun.
100%. If Backstreet Boys makes it on there, I totally can sing along to that. That was my 90s childhood right there. That and Power Rangers.
You
Hit
can probably
that
use some
light.
Nickelback.
They're not joking though, and I think that's the cool thing about our friendship between the 3 of us is that we all have grown. I feel like we've all grown up in a lot of the same way, and, like, we all have that
Mhm.
lifestyle right now, like, we all have our wives and kids that we all just kinda feed off of each other's energy kinda thing, and honestly, like, it's more fun because like, when you show up, you know the friends that are gonna be there, like, when I know, like, I've got a show with Casey or Garrett, like, I know I'm gonna have fun because it's friends, like, I may not get to see all the time, but, like, we all still text and talk and just still keep in touch.
Garrett, I saw you over in Nowata, but what have you been up to musically?
Man, a lot. We've been playing a lot, writing a lot. I've got 12 new songs that I've got recorded that are pretty much finished. I've been writing, trying to write a couple songs a week. I got a lot in the burner, you know. Some of them are not very good songs, but at least I'm working out that muscle, right? So sometimes and it's funny is sometimes the worst song in your opinion can be the best song to somebody else. So you never know until you get out
Show
there in the
off.
world.
We were talking about some of the songs that you've released as singles most recently. Right now, you got Looking for a Job that is out right now that you put out most recently, and as well as the one that you and I are hoping to collaborate on something for another one of
Yeah,
those things.
yeah,
So I'm looking forward to hearing those. Hopefully, they're at Sharky's and maybe some of the other ones that'll be coming
absolutely.
out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Garrett
What are
Brown has never written a bad song, just so you know.
Yeah.
I don't ever wanna hear you say
He's
that again.
it
Songs
sa
that
it
aren't very good,
Well,
man.
you know, some are better than others in your mind. I mean, personally, I'm partial to, you know, more my bluesy stuff, but sometimes you'll write a country song, you're like, "That kinda makes sense, I guess," but, you know, like that another one of those sayings, I was over at my buddy Jake's house, and he was still on the computer working, you know, and I just had that melody in my head, and I had
Mhm.
just sat down there, and the time he was off, he shut his laptop, was done with work. I'm like, "Bro, I finished this song." I'm like, "Check it out." He's like, "Dude, that's crazy. You just wrote a song." I'm like, "I don't know. It just the songwriting gods were good to me that day, and they gave me something to work with, you know." And then sometimes you'll pour your heart out into writing something, and you spend days and hours, and it's like, "Man, what is this garbage?" You know, "I need to throw this piece of
And you
paper
never
away and
finish
start
it.
over."
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. And like we were talking about before, Garrett, I mean, another one of those things is so crazy hearing that story about how you were able to complete that within, a couple hours or whatever it may
Yeah.
be. But it just has so much depth. And to Casey's point, your songs have so much, even in like looking for a job, right? It's just talking about one of those terrible
Yeah.
bosses. You're just like, I had enough of
Well,
this. I had enough of this dude or this
that's
chick.
an old Todd Snyder song that he recorded back in the '90s, and we had been playing it live for years, man, and I just it's like, "Man, this is a song that I really like," and it's kinda like that "screw you to the man," you know, if you will. "Stick it to the man, the Oasis, shout out School Rock." It's just a good song, you know, and
It's just one of those
just another
things.
one of those things,
Are you
man.
guys finishing Are you guys finishing each other's
That's
sentences?
right.
Yes, always.
Yes. Yeah.
That's been Casey and I, like, were on the phone a couple weeks ago, and we kept just saying it was like, "It's just one of those things." Like, plug Garrett's song.
To me, as a songwriter is, like, sometimes I'll have a melody of some kinda cool melody that sounds neat or different, and then a lot of the times I'll just have the hook, you know, the hook pops up, like, another one
Mhm.
of those sayings, and that's the hook, and then everything just molds around that hook of the song, and it's as a writer, sometimes it's easier to come up with something when you have something already there to kind of build off of, if you will.
Yeah, as a writer, when you're Garrett Brown, you can just shred whatever you want on guitar, and then you can just write to
It's
it.
true though.
It's glorious. I just you play that tune again, okay, and then I'm gonna write 5 songs of that one little diddly because I can just play anything. Yeah,
Well, I don't know.
how terrible it must be to
That's
be you.
that's to what Casey said though. Like, Garrett really is probably one of the most modest songwriters. I mean, even if he wasn't like, even if I didn't love him like a brother, if you just listen to every single song that Garrett's wrote, honestly, Casey's the same way, and Casey will tell me I'm a liar. But when you sit down and listen to the songs that they've wrote, there's a lot of heart and a lot of love put into their songs, and it's real. I think the first time, actually, like Casey may not even know this, but like one of the first times I ever listened to As a Crow Flies, like it made me cry because it's just a powerful song. And it's the same with Garrett. Garrett's got some songs that I've sat there and I've been like, why are you not bigger than what you are? Like, we have these conversations often, but it's cool to see your friends um grow, not just as people, but as songwriters too, and as musicians. Because I've known both of these guys for years now. Unfortunately, I've known Garrett since high school, and that's probably why we get in trouble. There's one songwriter that I'm going to give a shout out to. One of our friends is a guy by the name of Jake Flint. Um,
Play the fly song.
Jake was one of the most influential artists in our whole Tulsa scene, and maybe even in just straight Oklahoma scene. And
Dude
was
wrote
one
a
of the best.
song about a housefly
Yeah,
and just nailed it. Nailed
Why?
it, man. It's one of my favorite songs to say.
and you talk about shredding on guitar. The boy could shred on guitar. I mean, he had a love for people too, and I always loved talking about Jake because he was one of my best friends. He was very close with Casey too, and Garrett. We were all super close with him, and I think when we had Jake's funeral, it was one of those things, like, I don't think even Jake knew the impact that he left on so many people's lives,
Okay.
that he would be like, I didn't know there'd be more than he'd be like, I didn't know there's more than 10 people here for my service. That's just kind of how Jake was.
Everybody knew
He just
Jake.
didn't know strength.
Everybody knew him.
Yeah.
Seriously, everybody knew who the hell he was. It was crazy. Like, oh, you play music? You know Jake Flint? You're like, well, yeah. And it's like, God dang, man! Like, everybody knows who he was.
Not to throw shade on like any of the bigger names like Turnpike or Zach Bryan or anyone like that from the Oklahoma area that's made it big, but I know more people that knew Jake Flint than I know people that know Turnpike and Zach
Yeah,
and all these other guys from Oklahoma.
100%,
That's insane.
100%.
That speaks volume about, the art that you leave behind. And you want to be that type of person that leaves that legacy, even to your point, right? Even if he felt like he was super, super humble and didn't feel like, hey, there'd be 10 people here at my service when it's all said and done. And I'm sure all of us on the call sometimes feel like that, when we hit a rough patch or a rough season of our own lives, right? Like, what are we doing, right? Like, being a creative, no matter what your outlet is extremely taxing to keep going. And,
Especially making flyers.
Yeah. Shout out to AI. Garrett and I had an AI conversation yesterday.
It's cost effective. You can get something done really quick. Because I remember spending hours on Canva trying to make something like, man, I don't want to put this out. Looks like a third grader did it with, green crayon or something, which is fine, whatever.
I laugh because Casey and I have had this conversation so many times about flyers. We would text each other and be like, hey, does this look good? No, it looks like crap.
Trett, before the Sharky's flyer that he made that was finished, he made one, and it took Garrett. And for those who don't know, Garrett's a broad human, all right? He's a guy that can pick you up and drop you on your head no matter how big you think you are, all right? Trett made this flyer, and it probably added 200 pounds to Garrett.
Dude, I'm fat.
So bad.
I'm $3 on a good day. It made me. I was like 350. Arnold and got
it added
13
like 8
McDoubles
inches
and
to you.
17 large Cokes, man. Trying to get on the
The
shot.
bad part, it kept giving Casey, like, I don't know what the deal was, but it kept giving Casey a different face. Like, 1 second it looked like Casey, 1 second it looked like Cody Johnson, 1 second
And
it
then
looked like
Garrett was Luke Combs. for a minute.
That looked like
It completely
that looked
changed
like
the
Moreland or something, you know?
Yeah, Trett had different tattoos. He had like satanic tattoos.
So they're not satanic, Casey.
I will say this.
They
This is a
made
great
that right
preview.
there.
It's a great preview of what you guys can expect coming out to Sharky's on Friday, June 5th at 6:30. We'll have an hour show, and then the boys will get ready to go. You know, I will follow kind of what Trett was talking about with Casey, like as a crow flies. I think, and I have the lyrics pulled up, and I'm sure AI put these together. Speaking of AI, Garrett, but the good Lord knows I mean well, but I ain't seen him in years. That really struck me the other day when I was listening to that song. It just stood out. Like I didn't listen to the rest of the song, like it was playing in my ears, right? But that line is really powerful.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you say that 'cause that's the most controversial line for me personally. I don't know how. I haven't really talked to a lot of people about. Like I've had people come up and say like that song's changed my life, or like, man, I love that song. You know, but I haven't got to sit down and talk to a lot of people about like. I write a lot of controversial type stuff, but that's for me. It's not really controversial because the next line right after that is, "Good Lord knows me well, but I ain't seen him in years. Now I'm sitting here begging please through the overwhelming tears." And so everyone always hears those first two lines of "The good Lord knows I mean well, but I ain't seen him in years." And then I feel like some people ignore that second part. In my head, you know, it feels like maybe they think I'm like bashing the Lord upstairs, and I'm not at all. It's like I went through this whole experience from, you know, like my junior, you know, high school until really until a couple years before my son was born, where I wasn't the greatest person, and I kind of given up on God and given up on a lot of different things in life. I just wasn't a great person, and it was before I ever played music, and so that line was really like the crazy part is I don't really remember writing this entire song. I blacked out after it's 3 o'clock, still halfway rock in the middle of nowhere, and I came to and I'd written this whole song, and it sounds unreal. It really does, but I came to and I'd written this whole song, and I was playing it, and I had the words that in my handwriting I'd written the song. It was on my couch, 6 Mile Road in Fort Gibson, and I I just knew the song already. I was looking at the words and playing it, and then like every line was like it was like I wrote this, like you know this is I lived this, so I didn't just write, I lived it. But I don't remember writing the whole song. It was literally like it was a godsend, man. It was like I blacked out and went into a different place, and
Mm-hmm.
then here's the lyrics on paper, and it was everything I wanted to
That's
write.
how it happens.
So I don't know. Get too emotional, I guess, and you fade to
Yep,
black. You know.
you just stop thinking about things and what's happening around you, and you just, you know, you put that pen to paper, and the next thing you know, it's like, man, I just did this,
Yeah.
and it feels good too. You know, it's
That's
very rewarding when you do something like that.
Yeah, man. But yeah, that line was in my head was controversial for a long time. Now I don't care. Now I have to focus on like trying to remember the words to my songs more than I think about how it makes me feel. But that's just what happens
yeah.
as you get older.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's the thing. I'll say, and I'll kind of tie that with Casey is like a lot of people don't realize like how much as artists like we actually go through. You
mm-hmm.
know, the day to day. I mean, and it's true for like people don't understand like how much it goes into doing the booking or how much it is to go into the promotional side or make sure that you have sound and make sure that your band's going to be there. There's so much stuff that we can get into Friday, but like people don't understand the mental taxation of everything that we actually go through because like I know I can say it and I know that Garrett and Casey could probably say it too because we've all talked about this numerous times like there's just so many times that you get in this rut where you want to give up and you don't want to do it anymore and then you like start realizing oh I'm going to miss this if I don't do this or you know there's a million different ways that you can explain it but then you realize like why that's your first love again and like why you want to get back out there because you know we're all getting older there is a lot of taxation on your heart and like there's I think there's so many times like we all can agree like we've all kind of wanted to quit playing and we're
Yeah.
still here.
I think that's why, like in this season of life, for me, I'm liking kind of the path that I'm taking and the risks that I'm taking. And I find so much connection with y'all and musicians all over is because it's kind of similar, right? Do I want to go back to the corporate world and have a nice title and, give a nice presentation about KPIs and doing all this stuff and having a team that answers to me? Sure, the check is nice, but doing this with y'all and other things that I do is so much more fun. And it feels like me. And no matter if there's 5 people at the show or whatever I'm doing, or, it's a packed house, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter what your guys' following is. It's that you're continuing to doing what you want to do, right? And you're trying to express yourself and work, like Casey was talking about, and to Trett's point, work through all of that stuff to continue to come out on the other side and be proud of what you're putting out there. Yeah. So it's a journey. We'll get into that and everybody's American Tell during our live taping over at Sharky's on Friday, June 5th at 6:30. After the show concludes, the boys will start playing. And I'm hoping that we get Backstreet Boys so that way I can play along. And as well as we get the song Casino, because I've definitely lived that from Casey. The polar bear wearing the glasses is not somebody I trust when I'm walking down the aisles trying to figure out how I'm going to lose $300 in my pocket. So
shout out to Nick Sharp.
You've heard that song before.
I've heard it before. I lived that life. I appreciate you guys hopping on here. We appreciate Sharkies for having us. Come on out on Friday and the boys and I will see you there.